What is up, YouTube? It's your girl Evelyn, and today I want to highlight some of the best lesbian vampire films. So sit back, enjoy the video, and make sure to let me know which lesbian vampire film is your favorite. I have to kick things off with the feel-good franchise that has single-handedly resurrected the lesbian vampire for the current generation. The Carmilla Movie is a continuation of the beloved web series, loosely based on the gothic novella, about the adventures of Carmilla, a 300-year-old vampire, and her girlfriend / plucky sidekick, Gabrielle. I meant Waverly. Wait, no, I meant Willow. After 3 seasons of evil fighting shenanigans, Carmilla and Laura are still madly in love and mostly happy. That is until Carmilla's ex, Waverly in portrait cosplay, comes back from the grave to get revenge on Carmilla for killing her. I'll be honest, I didn't understand a damn thing that was happening in this film, but I kind of didn't have to. The Carmilla Movie is a low-stakes, silly Scooby-Doo meets Nancy Drew wholesome vampire film. It's sexy fan service that doesn't take itself too seriously. So if cuddly, wisecracking vampires are your thing, you should definitely give the Carmilla Movie a watch.
I'm a savage, attitude nasty, talk big.
We Are the Night is a super stylized German vampire flick about a group of sexy lady vampires who spend their free time racing sports cars around Europe, doing designer drugs, going on lavish shopping sprees, and, of course, killing indiscriminately. The head vampire, Louise, becomes obsessed with Lena, a Lisbeth Salander type who's a professional thief. And even though Lena looks as if she hasn't bathed in over a month, Louise just has to have her. And she does. Not sexually, but like, vampirically.
That's not a word!
We Are the Night is Blade meets Underworld meets a very tiny fraction of The Hunger. It's an overly bloody, mostly shallow action film that's relatively low on lesbianism, although most of the vampires do seem to be sexually fluid in the way that all vampires seem to be sexually fluid. And even though this movie is utterly ridiculous and has a terrible, terrible ending, there is one emotionally resonant scene that caught me off guard and made me tear up, which made me like the movie a whole lot more. If you're in the mood for a bloody, violent romp around Europe, then We Are the Night has those things.
Isn't it lovely? All alone.
2019's Carmilla isn't a perfect film, but it is way better than its IMDb rating. Just like the Carmilla Movie, this Carmilla is also loosely based on the Gothic novella. It's the 19th century and Laura lives in a big ol' isolated manor with her somewhat absentee father and her strict governess, Miss Fontaine. When a carriage crashes nearby, the only survivor is a young woman with amnesia. The family takes her in and Laura names her Carmilla, and the two of them become gal pals. Carmilla is a very deliberately paced film that is more concerned with atmosphere than anything else, which is probably why it's rated so low, not to mention the gratuitous insect close-ups.
I hated it a lot.
Another reason Carmilla is so heavily criticized is that it deviates from the source material in a way that pisses a lot of people off. In the novella, Carmilla is a vampire. It's not insinuated, it's not vague. She's a vampire, she's killing young women, and she must be stopped. In the film version of Carmilla, her vampirism is not made clear. There are non-vampire explanations for everything that happens in the film, but there are also she's a vampire explanations for everything that happens in the film. Personally, I love this approach, for the same reason I love Frankenstein. Because sometimes the monster we think we see isn't actually the monster at all. I highly enjoyed this version of Carmilla, but it's not going to be for everyone. If you're a fan of slow, atmospheric, gothic period films, you'll definitely want to check this one out.
My bad habits lead to late nights.
Bit is a deeply flawed, but also deeply fun, female empowerment flick about Laurel, a brooding teen girl who falls in with a cabal of lady-loving lady vampires, and predictably, blood-sucking hijinks ensue.
Now would be the time for any questions.
Do you guys kill people?
Indiscriminately.
Innocent people?
I'd say it's like 80-20.
Bit is far from perfect, but it's a film that does some things right. The plot is unpredictable, it has a great overall message, and my girl Laurel has an awesome Daria-esque personality. But tonally, Bit is all over the place. It tries very hard to be a black comedy, but It's just not that funny. Now, I'll be the first to admit, black comedy is insanely difficult to pull off. For every Heathers and Welcome to the Dollhouse, there's a Mr. Wrong and I killed my lesbian wife, hung her on a meat hook, and now I have a 3-picture deal at Disney. Thank you, Ben Affleck. Ultimately, Bit is a messy train wreck of a film, but at least it's a pretty train wreck with an empowering message.
I hate you, I love you,
The Vampire Lovers is yet another Carmilla adaptation and the one most faithful to the original novella. But keep in mind, it was made in the 1970s, so there are a lot of bare breasts, which I'm fine with. Several lesbian vampire films came out during this time, like Daughters of Darkness, The Blood-Spattered Bride, and The Velvet Vampire. And even though they're all somewhat exploitative, The Vampire Lovers is my personal favorite because of the ambivalence in Carmilla's intentions. On one hand, she is definitely killing these girls, but on the other hand, you kind of get the sense that she loves them, or at least believes she loves them, which is confusing, but still preferable to the evil lesbian vampire with no morals or redeeming qualities. Out of all the lesbian vampire films made during the 70s, I think The Vampire Lovers is the most watchable today. Not to mention, the entire movie is basically Ingrid Pitt seducing every woman she comes across. It's not a bad time. I want to give a quick shout out to The Hunger, which, in my opinion, is still the best lesbian vampire film in existence. And feel free to check out my classic lesbian films video if you want to know why The Hunger is so great. If you've been following the channel for a while, then you know every now and then I like to invite you to join me in the abyss by recommending a deeply depressing and/or gloomy film for no reason whatsoever. Byzantium is a wonderfully strange vampire film, and I feel like not enough people know about it. It stars my girls, Ammonite and Summerland, as mysterious sisters who seek refuge at a rundown coastal resort. I like Byzantium because even though it has a lot of the cliched vampire mythos, it still feels like a somewhat fresh take on the vampire genre. These aren't sparkly, cuddly, indulgent vampires who are running around having the time of their lives. These vampires worry about money, they worry about who to feed on, and they worry about being caught by the authorities. The film also rejects the wise vampire trope. Just because they're 200 years old doesn't mean they know what they're doing. And sometimes they seem even more innocent than the humans around them. I could go on and on about Byzantium, but don't get it twisted. This is a very emo, very slow, and very long film. So check it out at your own discretion. To finish out the video, I want to share my absolute favorite vampire movie of all time. This is the greatest vampire film I've ever seen, and I can watch it over and over again, and it never gets old. And that film is the classic 1922 Nosferatu. I'm just kidding, it's Buffy.
Ooh, ah, ow, ooh, ooh, ah. Ah. Ah.
That is it for the list. I want to give a quick shout out to my newest patrons, Ruby and Kimberly.
baby, I love you.
If you want even more movie recommendations from your girl, definitely consider joining Patreon. And I also want to let you guys know my latest novel, Spiking the Lens, is live on Kindle Vella. So if you're interested in Hollywood shenanigans, small town secrets, and way too many movie references, the first 3 chapters are completely free to read, and the link is in the description box below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.